Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome. There it is. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Hoodco Roofing, hoodcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. And ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Getting everything set up here. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hope, look what was on my desk when I sat down. Valentine's card from a Valentine. Can open that up here in a few. All right, hope your Tuesday's off to a great start. Pels win last night. They beat Oklahoma City. They outlast Oklahoma City. First game after learning Zion's going to be out a couple more weeks. Had a setback with the hamstring. But Pels went out there and they really controlled that game start to finish. They had a few moments there late. Really costly turnover at the end, or could have been a costly turnover at the end, where the Pels had the ball up three, inbounding. They inbounded it to Jose. It was a contested inbound, and the Thunder defender knocked it out of bounds. The ref missed call, but the Pels didn't have a timeout to challenge it. So OKC got the ball and a chance to tie with three, but it didn't go. So thankfully, Pels hang on 103-100. That's also significant because the Thunder are one of the teams right there in that clump with New Orleans. So they were actually, going into last night, they were tied in the loss column, but the Pelicans had two more wins. So now Pelicans at 30-28, the Thunder fall to 27-29. So Pels a game ahead of the Thunder in the loss column. So just as wacky as this is, right? So the teams are a game apart in the loss column. The Pels are in the 7th seed. So they're the last team in the play, or first team in the play-in, I guess. So like top 6, you don't have to fool with the play-in you're in. So Pels are 7 right now, a half game behind the Clippers. The Thunder are 12th. They're out of the play-in altogether. So margin is so small in this conference right now. Pelicans are 1 game from 4th. I mean, it's crazy. It's just I know we keep harping on it, we keep it every day, but it's just crazy to look at. Let's see. Then report that looks like the Saints are still the leader for Derek Carr, which I'm fine with. Just curious what they're going to pay for him, as long as this isn't a trade. And then the one other thing I forgot I didn't put in the headline there is we did find out yesterday. LSU pitcher Grant Taylor, torn UCL, done for the year. That's disappointing. He was not going to be a starter for this team, but was very likely going to be. They wanted him to emerge into the closer role. So disappointing. Disappointing for sure. Good news is LSU has an awful lot of arms, so they can compensate. But who fills that role will start to look. I mean, we played the audio by yesterday in AFR at his media day. Jay Johnson mentioned 9 different guys. I counted 9 different guys that could emerge in the closer role. So he's going to try a bunch of them, see who sticks. But I'll tell you, Grant Taylor is the guy that they were hoping was going to win that job. Okay, let's say some good mornings here. Tim Gotro, Truax, what's good, man? Saint for Life, Larry Garner, Brian Wynn, Hunter Broadhead, good morning. Brad David, why isn't Nick Saban's age affected his recruiting like it did Steve Spurrier late in his career? Because Steve Spurrier wanted to play a lot of golf. I mean, flatly, that's the answer. I mean, Steve, one of the big reasons Spurrier took the South Carolina job was all the great golf courses in South Carolina. You look at some of his really great teams, he was able to get 5-star players from South Carolina to stay in South Carolina. Stephon Gilmore, Jadeveon Clowney, Marcus Lattimore. So Spurrier stopped recruiting. Nick never stops recruiting. Cliff Nelson, what's good? Trivia card or Brian Williams. Went to the Pels game last night. Pretty fun game. All right. Oh, really? You were there in OKC, huh? Awesome. It looked kind of empty on TV. I was a little surprised. Dalton Barnett, what's going on? Jason H., what's going on? Reed Rule, morning Scone. Unfortunate about Grant Taylor's injury. Is he done as a Tiger, or will he be back for his junior year? So things can always change, but in the report, Kendall Rogers did note that Grant Taylor expects to return in 2024 to LSU, which makes sense, right? I mean, he would have to get. I mean, trying to go into the draft after, a UCL injury while still injured without pitching. I mean, you're not maximizing your value. Put it to you that way. Sure, a team could take you, rehab you, and get you to their farm system, but you would do much better for yourself. Rehabbing it, coming back, pitching well, and then improving your draft stock. Saint for life. Saints shouldn't overpay for Carr. I almost feel Loomis will. Saints need to build with cheap labor at a draft, a quarterback next season if they can't land their guy. Yeah, I agree. I'm curious what the market will bear for Derek Carr. Will there be other suitors? I think that's the big question. Nobody else is willing to trade for him. But what will teams be willing to offer to sign him, and what are those teams? For example, when you look at QB needy teams, Texans, Colts, the teams at the top of the draft that are going to draft quarterbacks are likely not going to sign Derek Carr, right? So what about a team like the Jets? That would make sense, but what if the Jets land Aaron Rodgers? And if Rodgers leaves Green Bay and goes to the Jets, well, that means Green Bay is going to start Jordan Love. You know what I mean? So you start to look at, okay, well, who are you competing with? Washington, maybe? Commanders? Titans? They're moving on from Tannehill. That he may not have a long list of suitors. So I don't know that you need to go pay him $37 million a year. Let's see. Ransom Antoine, do you think Carr and DA want to stick it to the Raiders? They have a deal in place. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily just sticking it to the Raiders, but I do think it's hard not to assume that they talked deal numbers, all that stuff when he was here. And again, the Raiders only let him take a visit because they had the framework of a deal in place. And then Carr takes the visit only to then veto a trade. So it's hard not to look at that and say they probably pulled a fast one. Hey, Deborah Coward, good morning. Kelly Groves, David Coslin. Tybers Hurts, what's going on, man? We need the Lakers to lose. Yeah, man. And look, they were dealers at the deadline too. And they're outside of the play-in right now, but everybody's within striking range. Well, everybody except the Spurs and Rockets. But yeah, they got a steep climb if they're going to get back in it. Let's see. Kevin Banta, good morning. What are your expectations for LSU baseball? Omaha. I think it's realistic. They're consensus preseason number one. You got 4 guys on the Golden Spikes watch list. You are the most talented team in college baseball. You have the most. You're the best team. You're going to win it all, but you have more talent than anybody else in college baseball this year. So if that manifests, you should be in Omaha. But then again, Tennessee was by far the most talented team last year, and they lost a home super regional. Bubba Smith, Jordan Smith, Tyler Alexander, good morning. By the time Cruz is done here, you think he'll make a bigger impact on LSU than Bregman? Well, Tyler, the only way he could do that is if he wins a national championship, because that's the one thing Bregman didn't do. But remember, Bregman came in, started as a freshman, won the Brooks Wallace Award as a freshman as the best shortstop in college baseball, was a multi-time All-American, and they went to Omaha twice in his 3 years. Cruz has never even had a home regional, and that's not his fault. Obviously, he's been sensational, but to claim that, he would have to be like Golden Spikes, win the national championship, which he's capable of, for sure. But that's a pretty big ask, man. Mark said Zion's out for another month. They said they're going to reevaluate him in another couple weeks, so he'll be out past the All-Star break, which is disappointing. Blaine Smith, draft best available, first 3 picks, need help, multiple positions. I agree. Namely, defensive line, quarterback if there's one you like. Derek Carr is the key to another Saints Super Bowl run. If Derek Carr is the key to another Saints Super Bowl run, then the Saints are not going to the Super Bowl for a very long time. Glenn Laurie, good morning. Nice Pels win. Yeah, you're right. Joey Langley, good morning. David Tolson. LSU women's basketball dropped 2 spots after their loss to South Carolina. What does that suggest? That they were 23-0 to start the season, man. And they went on the road and lost to the best team in college basketball. You're not going to get dinged too much for that. Wendell Norman, what's going on? Y'all smash that like button if you would, please. Facebook, please. Like the page, share the post. YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Also, as always, brought to you by Brock. You need orthopedists, go to Brock. They're the best. Right there on Bluebonnet. Near Perkins, inside of the Surgical Specialty Center. When you walk in, you're looking right at Brock. No matter what your injury, whatever the subspecialty, elbow, foot, hand, knees, back, neck, shoulder, they do it all at Brock. Hudco Roofing as well. Hudco's pinned in the chat. So if you need having issues with your roof, love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. You don't have to be home. Schedule it. Someone will come to your house, walk it, mark it, chalk it. If you got damage, we'll help you file a claim. Get that thing approved. We'll replace your roof. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Done. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Wendell Norman, Brian Ashcraft. Let's see, Taylor was dealing. A lot of people had him the Saturday bump. That's fine, Brian. I'm telling you, he was not in the rotation. Like I'm not guessing. Like he wasn't in the rotation. So you're looking at Skeens, Hurd, Floyd, probably Shores next. Let's see, Weston Weaver, morning, Matt. Any update on the renaming the court? Is the board going to give? And they did. It was Friday. Cajun Country, Saints sign Carr, 2 years, $25 million. I'd be okay with that. Yeah. $12.5 million per. I'd be perfectly fine with that. It's essentially the deal you gave Jameis. I'm perfectly fine with a deal like that. But I think he wants more than that. Let's see. So does that open the door for Christian Little to dominate? I think Little is definitely a candidate for. Little's a candidate to be a midweek starter, but again, I think Chase Shores may end up beating him out. And if that's the case, look, I mean, Jay Johnson says, like, we're going to have one of our dudes coming out of the bullpen. It's how he fancies it. And when you have this much talent, it's what's going to happen. So maybe Christian Little. Let's see, odds on Lutz coming back next season. I don't think he will. He's going to be a cap casualty. Trivia Carter, as I type this, 3 days, 10 hours, 52 minutes, 30 seconds till first pitch. I wonder if Michael Thomas was involved in trade talks. Are you trying to trigger me? I think you're trying to trigger me. Dalton Barnett may have already spoke on it, but when Texas and Oklahoma get to the SEC, is there going to be an East and West division? If so, who gets the boot to the East? Yeah, no, my understanding, Dalton, is that they would drop divisions. Nothing's been decided, but the most likely scenario is what we discussed. They drop divisions, 3 permanent opponents, 6 rotating opponents, so you would play in over the course of 2 years, you would play every team in the league, and over the course of 4 years, you would play home and away with every team in the league. So, and your 3 permanents, you play obviously home and away twice. So, but they would drop divisions in that scenario. And the 2, best teams would play in the SEC championship game. Tim Gotro getting close to opening night. Does Coogan have the Rally Frogs ready? I was talking to Musso about the Rally Frogs yesterday. Well, just about the oversized recliner and just a lot of the fun moments from the companion shows in years past. Jeff Hawk, what's going on, man? Good to see you there. Bailey C. The Broncos odds didn't change because Vegas expects another Peyton January collapse. All jokes, he's going to win a lot there. Yeah, maybe it's also just being in that division, right? So what Bailey's talking about is that the Denver Broncos Super Bowl odds did not change since they acquired Sean Payton. I thought they'd gotten a little bump, but again, being in that division, man, it's tough. All right. Jesse Brown, let's see, Ransom Antoine. I commented about Angel Reese yesterday, but came in late. Watching her play, she is never on balance and needs a jumper. What do you think? I could not evaluate Angel Reese's game, honestly. I cannot tell you that I've sat there and actually watched enough of Angel Reese play to tell you I have a competent opinion on whether or not she needs a jumper and is off balance. So, sorry. It's a fair question. I'm not in any way equipped to answer it. Armstrong Grappling, Tennessee is now the favorite to win the College World Series in DraftKings since the Grant Taylor news. Major overreaction. I'm all over the Tigers plus 650. Yeah, if that's and I haven't looked at the odds, but if that's the reason that they dinged LSU, that's let's see, Saint for life. Saints have some tough decisions to make on plenty of players like Pete, Lutz. I don't think those are tough decisions. I think those guys are gone. The path to cap compliance, you can look at the contracts and see which ones are set up for a restructure and who's going to be a cap casualty. Let's see. Don't be shocked when Riley Cooper takes the mound as a starter. Like, are you talking about a one-off? Like, Riley Cooper starting the 4th game in the SEC tournament? Yeah, no, I'll be shocked if Riley Cooper's a starter yet. No, I will be shocked. Yeah, I'll be shocked. Maybe like a midweek, like here, get us off to a good start in the midweek. Is that what you're talking about? Or like you're talking about being in the weekend rotation? Like anything's possible to get a guy a start. I mean, you could take the ball and go pitch an inning. They could pitch backwards. I mean, situationally. But if you're telling me you think he's going to be in the weekend rotation, then I think I completely disagree with that. A couple more here, and I do have to end a few minutes early today. So we'll do about maybe 3-4 more minutes here. Let's see. Shane O'Mac, good morning. Happy Valentine's Day. Wifey's birthday is today as well. Okay. Birthday on Valentine's Day. So do you go like double the gifts or does she kind of get hosed? Does she get birthday and Valentine's or just like they're combined? Feels like she kind of gets hosed. Eric Wilder out of Carr doing the Lord's work, saving us from ourselves. I wonder if we could also block trading more picks away to move up in the draft. Carr would be worse than in Vegas because of Pete Clown Michael. It's interesting how precipitous his fall has been. Brett DeGrow, what's up, Leon Williams? Happy Valentine's Day to you, Rock. Thank you, man. Armstrong, if you think Riley Cooper's starting this weekend, look, I'll ask. I'll make a few phone calls, but I would be fall over stunned if that was the case. Like, yeah, I mean, I'll ask. I'll make a phone call, but we'll see. I mean, you're saying it so confidently as if you know something, and I'm here to tell you, man, you and I don't talk to the same people, and the people I talk to are, let's say, a little more informed than I would assume the people you talk to. I would just making an assumption. I don't know. Like, you may be Jay Johnson here under a pseudonym. Robert Martin, what's going on? David Tolson, did you watch UFC 284? I did not. But I am very much looking forward to being in Las Vegas in a couple of weeks for UFC 285. So I got some travel coming up. Next week, we're in Napa, so I'm out next week. And then the following, so then I'm back for 4 shows, and the following Friday, I'll leave for Vegas because I'm heading to UFC 285. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see, Ray Woods, Matt, I don't get to watch as much as I would like. Any Game Quinn updates? Actually, someone asked that yesterday, Ray. Excuse me. Yes. Excuse me. To talk to the developer, actually had a long convo with Mailer last Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember which day. But last week, and talking marketing strategy for launch. We are on target for a Q1 launch, which, well, let me rephrase. We're on target for completion of the platform by the end of Q1, which should be the end of March, and at which point we would issue a date for launch. But the only way we will issue a date for launch is if it is completely finished and we are confident in saying, like, we are going to launch because we're not waiting on anybody else. Like, it's done, and we're just going to put it out there, put it, make the platform live whenever we want, because it's done. But it's coming very, very soon. Okay, we are done, y'all, and I got to bounce. So, actually, really, really good time. So, anyway, y'all have a really good day. Thanks so much for watching. We'll get you AFR at 3. Subscribe up to LSU Daily. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. All right, y'all have an awesome day. We'll see ya. Peace.